What's up, Tricology family? Welcome back to another episode of the Tricology Talk. Last week I had to take over that week off because I was shooting my second produced feature film. So it's gonna be times that I won't be here, especially going into the month of July. So July will be a busy month for me. So don't expect a lot of episodes there. So I will let you guys know when I will be taking a tentative off. So just keep that in mind. But other than that, for today episode, before we get into the mainstream news and the 3 movie reviews before we got to talk today, let me just say congratulations to the new 2025 NBA champions, Oklahoma City Thunder, and of course, congratulations to our 2024 and 2025 back-to-back NHL champions, our Florida Panthers. Now, everybody keep coming up to you, oh, we can win a third time. I'm like, no. Stop. Do not jinx it. Let us just celebrate our second championship while we have. And then when the next season starts, we'll be back to business, okay? So, let's just celebrate for the meantime. And then when the season starts, then we can start talking our third championship once we get back to business. All right? But other than that, congratulations to those 2 teams. As those seasons have come to an end until next time. We still have baseball season going on. And soon, before you know it, football season will be back. But other than that, let's get into our mainstream news. James Gunn confirmed that the Brave and the Bold movie is still set in development. Batman, my biggest issue of all of DC right now. Personally, I am working on a writer of Batman and trying to get it right because it's incredibly important to DC. Well, they still gotta wait on Matt Reeves' script to be done for the Batman 2, which is an Elseworld project, not a part of the DCU, so they gotta wait on that. So, but it is what it is. But continue on with the DCU Batman. James Gunn clarified what the DCU Batman will be like. I need to make sure he's not exactly the same as Matt Reeves' Batman, like I told y'all. But yeah, I'm not a campy Batman. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in a funny, campy Batman, really. So we are dealing with that. I think in a way, by the way, I really know what it is. I am dealing with the writer to make sure we can make it a reality. So I know Eddie Machete got something up his sleeve as well. Harold and Kumar are getting a new sequel as Cobra Kai careers into the write and direct. That's going to be very interesting. Now, let's get into some Blumhouse news. In case y'all ain't heard, Blumhouse is collaborating with Lionsgate for the Saw franchise. Well, I think when they do Saw 11, I think that's going to be the final chapter for what I'm hearing. But in discussion, they said the company paid an disclosed amount of part for the franchise, currently owned by producers Oren Cohen and Mark Burley. In statements, Cole said that it felt like the right time to pass the burden, while Burton said he wants to move on and tell new stories. And then we got a other detail saying, Saw holds a special place in my heart, James Wan says, adding, coming back to this world with a fresh new perspective is both thrilling and deeply personal. For me, this will mark a significant creative return to the Saw franchise for the first time seen in early days. I am very much looking forward to embrace the original spirit while pushing the legacy forward in bold and expecting ways. I can't wait to see what they can do. Now, we got some early reactions to Jurassic World Rebirth. So, let's read some of the tweets. Jurassic World Rebirth is everything you wanted. The plot can be silly, but who cares? The film was gorgeous, the dinosaurs were awesome, and Jonathan Bailey may be one of my new favorite actors. My heart is racing. There was a moment when I was happy and wanted to cheer. Another tweet says, Jurassic World Rebirth is a fantastic addition to the franchise, delivering everything you want and more. From the action, the cinematography, Garrett Edwards knows how to craft a great dinosaur movie. This one captures the spirit of the original and pull out the right back in. Jurassic World Rebirth is an absolute dino-charged spectacle that will leave you roaring for excitement. Garrett Edwards craft a Spielberg-esque thriller packed with visuals and terrifying dinosaurs and anxiety filled with action sequences that will have you grasp. Jurassic World Rebirth has a solid concept, million dinosaurs on a new island. I was intrigued, but the movie felt blah. Its stream of a forgettable scene that go nowhere. One river sequence stood out, but the rest was blurred together. The character was dull, and a zero chemistry. I found myself rooting for the dinosaurs just to feel something. The story played out like a studio checklist, nothing gets explored, and there was no heart to it. Some of the dino designs brought back the old monster movie vibe, but the film has barely used them. It just ends with no momentum, no setup, no excitement for where the franchise is headed. It's not awful as the last few, but it still feels empty. So, that's your early reactions. And Jurassic World Reboot come out next week for the 4th of July weekend. Moving on. A new MCU film is being officially slated to release on December 15th, 2028. Which one could that be? Going back to James Gunn and DC. James Gunn says a viral funky shot of David Cornsey's Superman flying is in the movie. Okay. It wasn't a finished visual effects shot. I forget to look at this closely. That was one of the kind that got me. Then James Gunn gave an update on the Sergeant Rock movie. I feel like we are at a pretty good place. We are still moving forward. It's not going to be what Peter want me to say here. I still moving forward, but yeah, not right now exactly what I wanted to be creative, so it needs to be changed a little bit. And then you want to say which next DC project is closely to start principal pornography. Then there's a TV show. That's my favorite thing in all of this. Then it's hopefully getting made soon. It's just my favorite thing. And then there's a movie. Oh snap. I don't know what I'm allowed to say or say not to say. But there's a couple of movies that have been rating. One of them in pretty good shape. Another kind closer to start. I feel positive about it. But there's a thing I'm writing. It said think it's okay. So the next thing after Clayface is not 100%, but it's clearly certain. Then he goes on to talk about Paradise Lost and whether it's connected to the Wonder Woman movie. Paradise Lost is moving along. It's slowly moving, but it's moving. And yet, I really love the project a lot. Yes or no. Wonder Woman is a separate thing. We are working on Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is being written right now. So it's different. I mean, no different. They're connected. She's... Now going on to the larger story of Gods and Monsters. Peacemaker and Superman are both pretty important in terms of getting a bigger story. At the same time, I'm really trying to be careful about anyone can dip into the same story and become out to feel like they are missing info. The other stories can be provided, adding a texture to what you're watching. This might change down the lines to where it getting deeper for what happened in the universe. It could be like Infinity War and Endgame, but we're kind to see Infinity War know what's going on in Endgame. But right now, I'm trying to keep it so that we don't have to see Superman to see Supergirl, for example. Even though there's a lot of stuff in Superman leading to Peacemaker, You certainly don't need to see it to see Peacemaker. It's just as good if you have. But we also say we're also going to say previously in the DCU before every episode. So pre-TV stuff is pretty easy. Very interesting. The Punisher will be in Spider-Man Brave New World. That's right. John Burler will surprise this role as the Punisher in Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brave New World. So, we got Spider-Man, we got the Hulk, and Punisher in this. And also there was another rumor saying that Ghost Rider and Mystico will also appear in Spider-Man 4. But we have to wait and see if those two character names will be confirmed. Pixar will now be making more sequels now instead of originals. They took this statement and say, while the studio has took risks, these films had also take 5 years to make. By the time the moviegoers go see them in theaters, about 8 different versions have already been made in prototype form. He says to migrate some risks, Pixar has landed a canon of one original film, followed by one sequel more or less. The Social Network Part 2 is in the works at Sony, with Aaron Rodgers set to the write and direct. Pitt, inspired by WSJ's The Facebook Files. Interesting. Dennis Villeneuve is set to direct the next James Bond film at Amazon. Ooh, this I am very looking forward to. But there's still that one question. Who is going to be the next James Bond? That is still up in the air. But that's all the mainstream news that we have for y'all today. And now let's get into our first of 3 movie reviews. And the first one we're going to be talking about is 28 Years Later. And the original creators from 28 Days that have returned to do 28 Years Later. So, the first half was the strongest point, I would say. I love the father and son chemistry in there. The visuals was great. I love the cinematography when they use all the iPhones. That was very creative. I love that. All the atmosphere was great. But I gotta tell y'all, the second half was its weakest point. Very clunky ending. Clunky editing. And a very dumb editing. But I understand it because it is leading to the Bone Temple that's coming up soon. So, for 28 Years Later, it's not bad, but it's not that great either. But it was still good for what it was. So, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10 and a B- grade. So, that's my review for 28 Years Later. And now, let's move on to M3GAN 2.0. The best way I can describe M3GAN 2.0 is Hasta la Vista, baby, the M3GAN edition. That's right. M3GAN 2.0 is basically their version of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, with a little mashup of Mission Impossible and Fast and the Furious. So they moved from the horror aspect from the first one to a over the top silly action with 2 female killing robot dolls. Yep, that's what it is. And I really enjoyed it. On the entertainment scale, it was really good. So I give this movie a B with an 8 out of 10. So that's my grade for M3GAN 2.0. And then last but not least, the F1 movie. Man, let me just say this one. Best best summer movie of 2025, and definitely a best movie of the year contender. Brad Pitt and Dempsey Iris was great. Joseph Kosinski scored another W with this after doing Top Gun Maverick. Man, it's, I could say a lot about this movie, but let me just go on, finish off by saying this was an absolute diverse cinematic experience. Like I said, John Krasinski did his thing. It does run a tad bit long with some scenes, like you could tell from its runtime. But all the performances, the racing sequences, and the uplifting story made this easily one of the best sports-related movies in years. So, I'm going to give this movie an A grade with 9 out of 10. So, that's my rating for the F1 movie. And that's all I have for you guys today. If you're watching and listening to me on YouTube or YouTube Music, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell when new episodes are uploaded. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast platform, don't forget to follow me there as well. So with that being said, this is Trico, and I'm signing off, y'all. Peace.